So there's the border fence, and that's where it is all along.
It's back.
And there's places where it doesn't exist. There's places where it doesn't exist. I don't know what's going on with the camera here, but these guys will remember in the back, see, there's places where it doesn't exist. They're in the back of an airplane that's bouncing around.
Begin pedestrian failure, 6469.
This is the text at Nogales.
Okay, 1359.
I want to stop this in a minute. Let it run just for a minute. And stop it. Okay, a little bit further. A little bit further. And I want to show you something. I think we're zoomed in too much. I don't know, let's see, you may have been zoomed in too much. That's a point that we, okay, hold it right there. Now, you hear about these drug tunnels in Nogales where they're smuggling drugs into the United States. This is the fence. This is a public road. These are houses, right? It's only about 30 feet where they have to dig a tunnel. We've seen the evidence of the tunnels into one of these houses in Nogales. Boy, our government puts up with this is crazy. Because they should come in and condemn all of those places, clear that border zone, and stop that drug. Now, we fly the border all the time. We have video of it. People say they're a tunnel. Do you know how many places there are in the United States between Texas and the Pacific Ocean where there's some place where you could actually bring a tunnel up? About 100. Well, the tunnel has to come up someplace. It has to have a covering, some kind of physical structure. We know this property. There's only about 100 physical structures in the entire United States that could house a tunnel exit. But this idea that they don't know where they are is nuts. Crazy. Go ahead. So this is Nogales. All kinds of places to get a tunnel. Now this is the new fence, new mesh fence, easy to climb, west of Nogales.
It's in the same spot. Okay.
And you'll see there's up in Nogales, fence over right.
6480 and pedestrian barrier.
So we know exactly where it begins in, we know what we're talking about, those maps are precise. Okay, there's your pedestrian fence. That's much. Okay, here's your vehicle barrier has been washed out in a storm. It's gone.
Okay, vehicle barrier begins again.
Okay, here's
6488.
Is this Sassabee? Should be Sassabee. Yeah, this is a lot of vehicle barrier. You see that over there?
Okay, begin the pedestrian barrier.
Yeah, this is a very...
1363. Same place.
This cheesy little barrier, they paid $3.8 million a mile for this. Look at this. $3.8 million a mile. It probably cost about $800,000. The guy walked away with a fortune. Could you stop this right here? I want to show you this. This is the port of entry at Sassabee. Notice that you can drive over here and go over there and get yourself checked out, or you can make a left turn here and just drive into the United States with nobody stopping you. We've watched this for months, 6, 7 months. They haven't done anything. There's nothing to stop people from driving this way. Nothing. They're catching drugs right in that town all the time. But the guy who essentially, I've understood that it's very difficult to enforce the law. All right, let's go. All right, here's the Boeing Tower. This SBI net. We'll talk about that. Here's the SBI net. Let's stop it right there. This Boeing, a little further. Right up at the top of the other. This is the Boeing Tower. It's called it the SBI net. When they first started this almost 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago, they called it the Strategic Border Initiative. I called it the Strategic Bullshit Initiative on my website. When they did that, and it failed miserably, just as I had predicted, because I knew it would be designed to fail. Then they started a new one. They just announced last week that's been stopped. Because it has been, all of this stuff is designed to fail. And the American people have to understand that. And if we can do a good job at finishing this video, presenting it to enough people, they'll understand what we're talking about. Your government is working against you. Let's go.
Begin the vehicle barrier again.
Over on the right side, you'll see the vehicle barrier, and then all of this open space. This is the Indian reservation, the Honolulu Indian reservation.
They won't let the fence go up.
You know, they'll let a big vehicle barrier go up because they know it doesn't work. They will not let a fence go up. You'll see some interesting
Change it,
stuff.
fence style 6511.
We know we mark every time there's a change in the fence style. We know what's where.
This is on the reservation. The Honolulu.
There's a gate. It's got a wheel, a tire on a wheel on it. So you can open up and let people in. That river there is open. See how open it is? There's nothing there.
Barrier changes from bollard to sawhorse style again. And then back to bollard. And no barriers.
And no barriers. Now look at the map on the right. Okay?
6520.
Over 30 miles of just open, except for the little mountain, and you'll see it starting there when we just fly over. You see that at the end of the rest. Now we just flat land, you know, any whole part of the building.
Vehicle barrier, no fence.
No fence, nothing. Okay? Now here's a little fence. That's going to stop somebody.
And the over traffic, Ocean 6701, Romeo, hold me over the OR 6500.
We'll just give you some samples. There's a big sign in Mexico and saying, watch out for varmints. And there's a gate right there.
Mark 6529, a gate open right across the border.
There you go, right there. Come on in.
Vehicle barrier.
Yeah,
Begin.
this is interesting. See that hole in the fence right there? Watch what happens here. Would you put a hole on that? Here's a story. Remember, did you hear about the Mexican army coming in and stopping the border patrol? This is where it happened. Right here. We have the documentation. There's a hole in the fence. Go ahead. Okay, stop it. This is where they drove through. This is the vehicle barrier that they said was within sight in the newspaper reports. And this is where the Mexicans held up the border patrol. We think what happened was a drug lord drove through. The Mexican army was there to guard them to make sure they got in. And then when the border patrol showed up, they held them long enough so the guys could get away. Let's go. Yeah, just put a little pause. So you see, another 4 miles of border fence. This is the vehicle barrier. Another little bit, another 4 mountain. And a little bit more vehicle barrier.
Beginning with the bollard barrier again, 6541.
Okay, those look like water tanks for your fingers. Now we go over some more mountains, and then we go next to Rocky Hill. This next segment.
Begin vehicle barrier again. 6544.
You know, most of the fence that they say is a fence is this color. That's their fence. That's a Department of Homeland Security fence.
Mark 64, 6544, 5, 6, and 7. Or 5, 6, and 7.
This is a new fence around Rocky Hill. Rocky Hill. Brookville. I know. They have flooded this area. They blamed it on the fence, but there were devices there to protect it. There's little Brookville. Again, turn left, drive this, go this way to get checked out. Turn left to drive in without hindrance. This is where they had the flood, but they had to put in devices to protect against it. Here they're putting in the new fencing right there on the side of the mountain, coming down, and they'll finish the pedestrian barrier right about there. And then for the next, how many miles? 64 miles, they have vehicle barrier.